Welcome back to Closing Time with Nick El-Tawil. I am, once again, Nick El-Tawil, and I'm here with Zac Faulk today. Zac, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Zac,
Awesome.
you're a watch broker. You own a company called Paradise Valley Time here in
Yes, sir.
Scottsdale. Now, you're also pretty young, too.
I am. I'm 28.
So tell me how you got into the watch brokerage business.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of people know kind of like the short version. That's like obviously a pretty common question, but basically, I don't know. I grew up always liking cars, as most guys do, and then, that was kind of in the early days of like Instagram, where everybody's posting cool cars, and then along with that was posting like cool watches, and I grew up with one of my friends growing up, like his dad had all these cool watches and, well, also cool cars too, but I don't know, I feel like we would just be around these watches. You'd see these watches on Instagram. They kind of went hand in hand with car culture, and I just thought they were cool. Like it was just like another mechanical thing that's just cool, basically. I don't know, like I was just drawn to them. And I remember even probably in like, I don't know, like late middle school, early high school, so I'm like 13, 14, maybe 15, and I was like, I want to get myself a watch. And, I never really did. Like I kind of just, it was limited to just like watching the YouTube videos and stuff like that, because obviously watches are expensive. So, it took a while before like I actually bought one, but, I always were interested in them. Like I thought they were super cool. I ended up going to school for mechanical engineering, which is like, kind of continuing on that interest in mechanical things. And then, got a job, graduated, and at that point, that's when I was like, okay, I can buy my first watch, right? So, I graduated, making a little bit of money, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a Hamilton. Like, this is crazy, $600 watch, And I mean, within 6 months, I had bought a bunch of other watches, ended up buying my first like nice Rolex, which was a Rolex Milgauss. It was like $8,000.
Discontinued, by the way.
Yes, it is discontinued.
You still got that?
No, I actually don't have it. I had it for a while, but I got to the point where like, and that's kind of the, like, being a watch dealer and having access to pretty much every watch that you want at any time can almost like make it a little harder, because it kind of like devalues how cool they are in a way, So it's like,
right.
It's like I just found that I wasn't really wearing it, because it's like, well, whatever watch comes in that's cool. I mean, whether it's an AP, Patek, Rolex, anything that comes in, it's like, well, I can just wear that. So that first watch, I ended up just not really wearing it, and I was like, it was just kind of sitting around, and I was like, time to move on and sell it. So, but very quickly it went from cheap watch to expensive watch, because the thing is they hold value so well, So it was, It was totally fine to just.
It's way better than like blowing your money on a car or something.
Yeah, it's better than almost any other luxury item. Like pretty much, if you're buying from one of the major brands, like let's say you're buying a $10,000 watch, you can probably get your money out of it at least like $9,000, which is pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, buying that Milgauss, that was at the time where the watch market was starting to pick up. It was becoming a lot more mainstream, and a lot of pieces were trading over retail. And so I was kind of thinking, like, oh, well, I could buy some watches, and then if I get it at retail, I can just sell and make money. So I offered a watch that I thought I was going to buy to, like at the time, it was a dealer called David S.W., and they had it on their website for like $5,500. And so I was like, what do you give me? And he was like, $4,000. And I don't know, something just like clicked, and I was like, wait, so all this guy's doing is he's just buying it, and then he's just selling it, and because he has a website, he just makes money, like he just gets to. And so I was like, okay, I'll try doing that. And that's pretty much how it started.
How do you source these watches so quickly?
Well, there's kind of two different categories of watches that we have, I guess, right? So there's inventory. So something that we have on hand that's like at our office ready to sell, all of those watches are going to come from our clients. So that's basically watches that people are trading in, watches that people just want to sell to us. Maybe somebody got the call for a watch from Rolex or AP or whatever, another dealer, and they don't want it, or they only bought it to keep their spend up. They'll come and sell that watch to us. So that's stuff we have in inventory. As far as sourcing, if someone comes to us and says, I want a Pepsi or a Batgirl or whatever, basically, if we don't have it, we just reach out to another dealer like us, who might have it in stock. So there's all these communities online that we pay money to be in. It's like a whole ecosystem, and there's a bunch of dealers like us in it, and you can post stuff for sale there. You can also post like calls for stuff, so you can say, I need a back grill, and if somebody has one, they'll answer it. And so if it's a liquid watch that's a little bit more common, you can get most things in just a couple of days. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just crazy to me because like the MLS is a known thing for real estate, and like that's where the properties are listed, and we communicate with other agents. I didn't know there was a whole underworld like that for watches.
Pretty
Not
much,
underworld, but like
no, it's like
community.
a back end basically.
Yeah,
back
like a back
end
end
that
thing.
basically the public, kind of like the MLS doesn't have access to.
Right.
Because that's a realtor only thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of same thing. I mean, you have to have a business license, that proves that you're like actually in the industry to get into a lot of these chats, and then you also have to have a certain number of people who will vouch for you, which basically means, if Zac doesn't pay, then I will. So they're so confident that you're going to be good that they basically back you with their own money if anything goes wrong. So a certain number of people to do that. A lot of it is in just WhatsApp groups. Like all the platforms that this takes place on are not really designed for this type of activity, so it's kind of like clunky and weird, but it works, and a lot of the chats are in Hong Kong. Like sometimes like Hong Kong pricing is a little bit more realistic, so there's all kinds of different tools and communities that we use to source watches, and then also to see what we can buy stuff at. Like knowing what watches are trading for is really important too. And so yeah, I mean it's crazy, how much money these places bring in. I mean, they're just Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups, but it's it's a necessary tool for a watch dealer, for sure.
Do you have to pay tariffs if you buy from Hong Kong or China or something?
Yeah, so that's actually kind of a crazy thing that's happening right now is, the tariffs on any Swiss good are 39%, right? And that's not the country that it comes from. So, if something comes from Hong Kong, it's not like a Hong Kong tariff, or it comes from Japan, it's not a Japan tariff. It's on the item. So if your watch is made in Switzerland, it doesn't matter where it comes from. You're paying 39% to bring it into the U.S. And not only that, but I think that because of how high of a percentage it is, and how much money that could potentially be, they're also a lot stricter on what comes through customs. So if you're importing something, it's going to take a lot longer to get through customs. So a lot of dealers in Hong Kong and Canada and other places that are pretty reliant on the U.S. market, they're not like really shipping watches into the U.S. anymore.
So it'll be a supply problem.
Exactly. So it'll be a supply problem. And once the tariffs were announced, a lot of dealers kind of predicted, hey, this is probably going to happen, and try to capitalize on that, and prices started to go up. I think that as time goes on, there's going to be even more of a supply restriction, or rather we're going to feel the effects of the supply restriction. I think actually we haven't even really felt that yet. I think
It'll be a long-term thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in real estate. Like no one's really building right now because everything's so expensive.
Oh, really?
And there's not really profit margins. So we're not going to feel a supply crunch today, but in 5 years, there's not going to be enough new homes that were built the past 5 years.
Damn. Yeah, and that's interesting. Like, and there's a lot of similarities between like the watch market and the real estate market. Like it seems like in some ways they kind of mirror each other.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. Like they do. I mean, if we look at like
art
2020.
too.
Oh, really? See, that's something I
too.
don't know much about. It's art. But it makes sense. I mean, any kind of like collector hard asset market.
Hard asset, physical asset.
Yeah.
I don't know like that much about certain artists or things like that, but I was trying to pay attention to art for a while. I actually have an idea. I had this idea back in the day. I was gonna get art and sell it in empty listings. So like just stage it with art, and then put price tags on it, and people could buy the art if they don't buy the property.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, restaurants do that. If you go to a lot of the restaurants in like Central Phoenix or any artsy area, I feel like a lot of them have art on the walls just like that. So
right. It's a normal thing.
People do it, yeah.
The practicality of it is more difficult than I imagined, like transporting it, not damaging the art. Because obviously sell the property, you got to move all the art, put it somewhere else. So you're going to have a lot of empty listings too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I got to build the brokerage quite a bit bigger before that's practical. But commissions on art are like 25 to 50%.
Really?
Yeah. So.
That's really interesting. I mean, it makes sense because there's so many, if you go to like, I don't know, these ski towns or Aspen, I mean, even like right where we are, there's so many art stores. It's like, how does that work? I mean, I guess there must be a lot of people buying art. And
Chris loves art.
really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. So yeah.
He was telling me about his original cause last night. I was like, you have an original cause? It was like a book, so it wasn't like a full painting, but still.
What's an original cause?
Cause is...
cause, like O-K-W.
yeah.
Oh, I got you. Oh, that's kinda
K-A-W-S,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I think he has a collab with AP, too.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like a very controversial watch. But yeah, I mean, they're like 400 grand. So, clearly like somebody likes them. Yeah.
Or like Travis Scott has an AP.
Yep, the Travis Scott AP, that's one of the like most desirable and most popular watches of the past couple of years. I mean,
Really?
yeah, and that's one where, there's some watches where it's like, okay, it's hard for the public to get.
Well, it's a
dealers have
$500,000
access to.
watch. It's like
That's true. Right,
First-
inaccessible for most people.
inaccessible for, just based on the money. But then actually
take
getting it.
take like the Panda Daytona. I mean, that's one of the most desirable watches there is to a lot of people at retail. It's inaccessible. I mean, without spending a lot of money. But it's a watch that, like, for a dealer, we sell them all the time. We can get them very easily. But the Travis Scott AP, that's one where like there's just so few of them that if somebody placed an order with us, we could get it. It would just I just don't know of one that's like available right now. It's not like there's one just like kind of sitting waiting to be sold. People have them, but they're few and far between, basically. Yeah, there's not many of them. And watches like that are always kind of cool because like it's cool when it's even hard for a dealer to get it. That's when it's like truly rare. Yeah.
I think my fascination with watches, because like you, I was younger. I was like, I thought cars were cool.
Yeah.
I moved to New York. I did not have a car.
Right.
It was impractical for me to have a car.
Yeah.
And then I got into real estate. And I think my first day, they told me I need to buy a fake Rolex if I want people to take me seriously. And I thought that was stupid. I was like, no, if anyone cares about the watch I'm wearing, they're going to know if it's a fake Rolex. Like, I'm not going to do that. But it put the idea into my head.
Yeah.
It's like years later, I had like my first big closing, and it hadn't even closed yet. I walk into Tourneau just to look, and I was so excited. They showed me a rose gold day date, and I put it on a credit card 2 weeks before closing. Fortunately, it closed. No issues. Like, it closed. I paid it off. It was fine. But like, yeah.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, what were kind of the chances of it not closing? Like when you did that, were you kind of scared? Like, like, oh, maybe this isn't gonna close. Like, oh shit, like what did I do? Or were you like, no, like it'll be fine. Like it's just gonna close, whatever.
Yeah, it's just gonna
like,
close. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. New York's a little different than Arizona. Like, we don't have inspection periods or anything. Like, the chance that something falls out is like slim to none.
Okay, that makes
like,
yeah.
And then
then
the buyer's probably getting sued. It's like, it's a whole thing.
Oh,
and they don't
I
want to
see.
deal with that.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
But no, it was something I wouldn't do today. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I was like very excited. Like, I finally got a big deal. I'm
No,
getting a
fair.
nice
I mean,
watch. It's the first thing I'm gonna get.
Well, it's like, I mean, that's kind of how it was when I bought my first Rolex, or my first like nice Rolexes. I basically, pretty much all the liquid money I had was how much the watch cost, right? So I was like, and in my head, I was like, I don't know, it just felt, I was like, I just want it. So I was like, in hindsight, yeah, I wouldn't have spent all of my money on a watch, but I'm glad I did. Like in hindsight, it was like the right decision, I think, but kind of like that logically, it's like, that doesn't really make sense, but.
Yeah, it was a learning experience for me because I learned very quickly that, 25-year-old walking around with a rose gold day date, you attract the wrong kind of attention.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That watch lasted me a year or two. I sold it. I got a stainless steel Datejust, which I had for many years, and I just recently got rid of, which is when I met you.
Yeah.
So, I've learned to like appreciate more subtle stuff. So you're not like, I would just go into stores, like even to my dry cleaner, just to drop off my suits. They'd charge me like 10 times the price, just because I'm wearing a gold watch.
And especially if you're younger, people can get like weird. I mean,
Yeah.
we've experienced that a lot because my business partner Liam, he's about a year younger than me, so we're both young, and a lot of people, I don't know, they kind of just assume it's like our parents are in the business, or it's like someone just kind of gave us all the money to run the business, or
Yeah.
like I don't know, it can give a weird impression to people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Like the lifestyle has to match it. And my lifestyle was like I was still dropping off my clothes at the cleaner by myself. I was still like getting my own food, doing this
Yeah,
and this.
the
So it's like,
$40,000 watch, or maybe
Yeah,
30,000 at the time. Yeah.
I think it was 35 after
That sounds
tax.
about
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's a serious watch.
Yeah,
mean,
that
for
was-
a first Rolex too. That's serious.
Yeah, dude. Terrible decision. But now I know. Don't buy all gold. Do not buy gold. Stay away from gold.
Yeah, especially at retail. There's some big hits that you'll take on gold watches. It's a little crazy.
I took a big loss on that one, but I wasn't expecting to make a ton of money. But actually, when I took the loss on that and I got the stainless steel one, which was much less, that's when I learned about how, the stainless steel ones actually appreciate, the gold ones don't.
Yeah.
And that kind of got me interested in like the market of these luxury items, because it's very similar to like real estate, where like, if you go and you buy the brand new condo at Optimum McDowell Mountain, the penthouse, the nicest one, you're probably not seeing a return on that for a while. You got to hold that for a long time.
The HOA fees are so high that, that eats into your return, basically, right? Like if you look at it over the time of ownership, doesn't the HOA have a big effect, or is that kind of like equivalent to maybe repairs you have to make on a house?
It's pretty. It's actually probably less affordable than repairs. The thing is, a lot of people use these condos as like second or third or fourth homes, so they're not living there full time, so they're not getting the full benefit. But also,
that makes sense.
Like they don't want to fix. They don't want to like go on vacation and have to fix stuff around the house.
Yeah, it's all taken care of.
So it's like, they like that.
Yeah.
But if you are actually living in a condo full time, HOAs come out ahead. Because you're like pooling it with all the other owners.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah. I guess unless you live at Optima Biltmore and, don't have a pool and your elevator breaks all the time. At least that's what I've heard. I don't know.
No, that is
weird things happening
Dude,
over
that
there.
is so true. I have a listing at Optimum Biltmore right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pool's still not done. It's been 5 years.
That's crazy, because I had a buddy, he just moved out of there, and when he was moving out, they were supposedly like putting in the pool finally. But
They've been saying that for years.
that's bad.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, right?
Well, rooftop pools always have problems. So, I had a listing back in the day in New York, building out a rooftop pool. While I had the listing, the pool started leaking, the HOA sued the developer, and because there's a lawsuit going on, no one can get a mortgage. So I just never sold that property, because the rooftop pool was leaking and they sued him. So
That sucks.
yeah. So rooftop pools, they look nice. They're a great amenity when they work great, but after a few years, they tend to have some issues.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think there was a pool at our building, Camelback Tower. I feel like I heard that before.
On the
There was
roof?
some kind of, I don't know if that's true. But there's one somewhere in the building or something like that. I don't know.
Wait, what's Camelback Tower? Is that Hayden and Camelback?
It's on Camelback and Goldwater.
Camelback and Goldwater. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, like in your office
Yeah,
building.
on the top. Yeah, I feel like I heard that.
Sotheby's has a pool on the roof.
Well, now the business on the roof.
Jensen, what do you think? You've been in that Sotheby's office.
Well, it's the one on the
Just
top.
the gra-
Yeah, the one on the top is it's like, okay, it's this company. They're called Digital Airstrike, but they're like a software company for like cars or something like that. So I don't know what they do, but they're in the penthouse now. Yeah, and apparently there was a pool there. I don't know.
So when that rooftop pool starts leaking, it'll leak into yours because you're on the floor right below it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Which is awesome.
yeah, and that's when the issues happen, because then those guys get pissed and they're like, "We're suing the developer."
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound fun.
So what are you wearing right now?
I
I know you always. Actually, you told me the other day you're always trading around different watches. So for a watch guy, you really only have one at a time.
Yeah, only
Yeah.
one at a time.
And this one's relatively new, right?
This one I've had for, man, I don't even know, like probably about a month or two. So it's a Patek Calatrava 6007G. It's kind of.
And that's not like the Calatrava I had. That is way.
No, yeah, this is
more
basically like in some ways like the newest version of that watch. The Calatrava is kind of their like entry level dress watch line basically, but now they become so expensive that it's like not an entry-level watch. This watch trades for well below retail, but after the recent Patek price increase, retail is like $50,000 now. This doesn't really feel like This is, it's about, I'd say it feels about its market price, which is about $30,000. White gold case.
Only 30,000.
Right. Only $30,000. But for a new Patek of this caliber, I mean, that's like pretty reasonable. I mean, their retail prices. It's like such a inaccessible brand now. It's either the retail price is super high, or if the retail price is low, it ends up trading for double or triple. So it's still expensive. You kind of, Pateks are just expensive no matter what. But yeah, I kind of just wanted something, I just wanted a Patek that I could wear every day, basically.
And that is legitimately a Patek for every day. Like, that's sporty, but it's also dressy.
Exactly,
I like that.
Yeah, it's super, exactly what you just said, is why I wanted it. And, the only thing is, like, so I had a Rolex Yachtmaster on Oysterflex before this, and what I loved about that watch is you don't really ever have to take it off, like, no matter what you're doing. I mean, even if you're, going in the water, like I would, I don't know, wear it to the gym and use it to time sauna and cold plunges. You can't do that with this one. So that's one thing where it's like, you don't really want to take it in the water, but that hasn't really been that big of an issue. You just wear a different watch in the water, basically. Yeah. So,
I was nervous about, like, I need to get a watch that's waterproof, because what if I go in the pool? I don't go in the pool that often.
Yeah, that's
like,
the thing.
And we don't have a beach here, like.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm going to the beach, it's in Mexico. I'm not bringing that to Mexico.
Right. Yeah, so, if you're in Mexico, you're not going to bring a watch like that. If you're in California, like, and you go to the beach, okay, you might bring your watch, but, like, wearing an expensive watch in the ocean is terrifying, because it just feels like every 5 seconds, you're just going to, like, lose it. So I don't know. For the beach, if there's waves and we're swimming around, like, I'll probably wear a cheaper watch. If it's in the pool, even then, like, it can be a little uncomfortable to, like, submerge your expensive watch, It's kind of like how, I don't know, like, phones are waterproof now, but it's still scary to, I don't know, take your phone
I'm never
in the water.
taking my phone in the water.
Yeah.
Never.
I'll wash mine, like, in the sink. I've gotten used to it, It's like, I don't know, it's made to do that. But it is scary. Your brain is kind of like, wait, like, don't do this. I mean, even with my Yachtmaster, it's like, okay, let's check the crown, make sure it's screwed down. But, they're made for it. This one, not made for it. And in general, like, even Patek's diving watches, which is kind of dumb, they have the same water resistance as this. Yeah, it's right. So it's called the Aquanaut, but it actually doesn't even have enough water resistance to swim in. So it's like, kind of defeats the whole purpose. It's very weird. Like, we had a client actually who he had 5726, so a Nautilus white dial annual calendar. Nautilus underwater themed, like, it's designed after a porthole. Theoretically, you kind of think, well, I should be able to swim in, like, my water themed watch, but actually it only has 30-meter water resistance, which basically means you can, like, wash your hands with it, and maybe if it rains, you're okay.
This is 30. It's Velcro.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that. You don't want to swim with that, but. So he jumps in a pool with his $90,000 watch, and he gets out, and it's filled with water. And it's like, well, the water resistance is 30 meters, so I should be able to swim with it, right? And it's like, well, no, that's like a static test. If you're swimming with, you shouldn't swim with 30 meter. And yeah, I mean, that's a rough way to learn that. So, and I was even a bit surprised, because I was kind of under the impression that, okay, at least maybe the Aquanaut has a higher water resistance, but they just don't. So you gotta be careful. It's really, I don't know, really, like, Rolex and kind of like dive watches are what I'd be comfortable swimming with. I mean, some people are swimming with their AP Royal Oaks. That's probably not something that I would want to do.
Yeah. Rolex, like, it's the most mainstream brand, obviously. It's the one people know. It's why the prices have probably gone up so much.
Even non-watch people know Rolex, yeah.
But they're very sturdy.
They are, yeah,
so, they are. I was trying to get something, different, just because everyone has a Rolex, so I wanted something different. Yeah. But when you really look at, like, what they offer compared to everything else, it's like, oh, okay, that's why people go for Rolex first.
Yeah, it's the best. For example, like, this Patek, you kind of have to know a little bit about watches, first of all, to even, like, know what this is and be interested in it and, like, want this over a Rolex, but also, if you change the date at the wrong time, you can break it. Like, if you, it's just more delicate. It's a little less user-friendly with a Rolex. Like, You can wear it. There's no like, hey, don't do this. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's like, no, you just wear it. Like it doesn't matter. And that's what's really nice about a Rolex. They're also, you know, if you get them dinged up and damaged, like they're easy to polish. They're inexpensive to polish. Take like an AP or Patek. A polish is probably going to be $1,000, maybe more if you need to do some laser welding and fill in material. With a Rolex, like it's probably going to be a couple $100 and it'll look brand new. So a watch that you're wearing daily for the long term, you can't really beat Rolex, you know. And we don't really ever see, you know, a lot of people worry about warranty with watches, but with Rolex you don't have to worry about it. Like we don't really ever see it. I can think of 2 times that we've had a Rolex need warranty work. One of them was a watch toward the end of its warranty period, and it was running a few seconds fast, which most people will never notice. And then the other time, we had a date come from Rolex, and it was like something was wrong with the date change. It was already broken. And so that's 2 out of, you know, like thousands of watches now that we've sold, many of which are, vast majority of which are Rolex. So it's just not something you really have to worry about. And that's why they're so awesome. I mean, it can be a little frustrating, you know, if you buy an AP and you kind of have to like baby it and maybe it breaks and all that. But with Rolex, you don't have to worry about it.
I just feel like the finishing on the AP is so fine. It's like you don't want to mess
like
that up.
Perfect.
It's like a piece of art, and you don't want to mess it up. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what draws a lot of people to AP. But a lot of APs end up getting sold back to us just because like they don't quite have the comfort that Rolex does.
Oh no, that was uncomfortable as shit.
Yeah, they're not as wearable, right? Because there's no give in the bracelet. So you kind of have to wear APs a little bit looser. They don't have any micro adjustment, which pretty much every other watch does. So it's just not as it's a trade-off, right? Like what you're giving up in user experience and comfortability, and you know situations in which you can wear it and cost, you're gaining and like some of the coolest looking watches ever with AP, you know, but Rolex tends to be just like the best overall balance for everybody. And then, you know, now that like there's this like allure to them where it's like, oh, they're hard to get, you can't get them, they trade for retail, and that just further drives the Rolex craze. But I do think that at the end of the day, they are pretty much just like perfect watches for most people.
So why is it that Rolex is trading so high? Don't they make a ton of watches?
They do. So they make
it's like
over 1 million watches a year. And now people are saying that maybe, you know, it might even be like 1.2 million. I don't know. They're building at least 1 new factory in Switzerland. So
if we're talking like supply constraints driving up prices, like I know like AP makes what, 50,000 watches?
I think it's something like
so
that. Yeah.
It makes
it's
sense.
A lot less.
It makes sense that the AP is very hard to get and it trades way above retail.
Right, there's genuinely very few.
The Rolex, they make a ton of them.
Yeah, they make over 1 million. So, and that's a lot of watches. I mean, if you look at like the map of where all the Rolex authorized dealers are on their website, I mean, it's in almost every single country. You know, like there's, I think
I saw one in Mexico last time I was there.
Yeah,
a few months ago.
Right, any country you go, there's probably a Rolex AD. I think there's 16 or 1,800 worldwide, so there's a lot. So there's a lot of watches going out to a lot of different places. So it's not really like, oh, they're rare or they're limited. There really is just that much demand. And the problem is like, let's take like the Rolex Submariner, you know, Submariner Date. That's a watch that trades for a few $1,000s over retail. So as soon as you have an item that's trading for over retail, you get increased demand because people know, well, wait, I can just go buy that watch at Rolex and then I can go sell it and make money. So it's like, you know, a lot.
Don't they cut you off if you do that?
If they know about it. I mean, even.
Do you help them hide it?
I mean, yeah, that's a big, you know, preserving.
Actually,
it is a big part of our business, and you know what we really try to do well is like preserve those client relationships, because oftentimes clients have, you know, I mean, even if it's $50,000 invested into the relationship, all the way up to millions invested into the relationship, we want to protect it the same way, because it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to get those really good pieces at retail. And so, you know, if we have a client who, I don't know, has been with the AD for many years and spends a lot of money, like the last thing we want to do is be the reason they get cut off. So with Rolex, it's easy. I mean, really all it is, you know, you hide the serial number. Thankfully, you know, if it's like a Rolex Pepsi, there's so many Pepsis, right? So it's like not obvious if we list a Pepsi and maybe a local AD just sold a Pepsi. It's not obvious that that, they can't really say, oh, that's definitely the Pepsi that we just sold.
Yeah.
If it's something a little bit more rare, that's where you got to be careful. So, and that happens often. I mean, we had multiple situations like that recently, where client sells us a watch and we don't want to post it because we think it'll be a little too obvious where it came from. So what we do is we just post it in one of those dealer chats, basically. So it doesn't even hit the website, doesn't go on Instagram. We might post it later, just a little post about it, a few weeks down the road. But yeah, we've had a lot of watches that we just like can't post, or some watches we don't even want to sell locally or like in the U.S. We'll just export them to like Hong Kong, just to get them out of here. With AP, you can register the warranty card. So, when you get the call for that AP you've been waiting for, they're going to go check your account history, and they're going to say, okay, on your profile, do you still have all the watches that we sold you? And if you don't, they might cut you off. I mean, we had that happen. We had a client where we do these things called safe sales, where we hold the warranty card for a year, right? And the problem is, if you're holding the warranty card, you're gonna get less for the watch. So in this case, we did a 1-year warranty card hold. It was a really hard to sell watch, and it was like, okay, well, after a year, it'd be reasonable that you hold the watch for a year and then you sell it. Well, he got the call for something, and they didn't see that watch on his profile a year later, and they were like, oh, sorry, actually we can't sell this to you because you sold your watch. So yeah, you gotta be careful with it. It's a little crazy.
Do you think people are like making decent money doing that? Like, get a Rolex from the AD and then they come sell it to you?
It's tough, right? So,
because you have to make your money, obviously, right?
Right. So, typically we're buying watches basically for, let's say Rolex ends up being like 8 to 12% below what we're going to sell it for. So it's not a large margin, and
right, but if
generally
it's easy to do, they call you like, yeah, I'll make a
right, and for them it's super easy, right?
Super easy.
They just go to the store, pick up the watch, and then we're right upstairs from a Rolex AD, so theoretically you could just walk upstairs and sell to us and make a few $1,000s.
Literally.
But I'll put it to you this way, like I know we have a lot of clients who are profitable on their Rolex relationships. We also have a lot of clients who aren't. Yeah, but this is not really like big time profitable. I mean, it's like
no, it's like a hobby.
Stopping in every month, developing a relationship with your sales associate. You're buying some watches here and there, basically, and I don't know. You might make $5,000 here or there. You might make, let's say, even $20,000 over 4 years. And it's like, I mean, that's good. $20,000 is a lot of money.
But I kept a watch or two. It's a hobby for them.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Right. That's the thing. Like you have to enjoy it. And the problem is, oftentimes the people who are getting these watches at retail that they can make money on, they're already big jewelry buyers or something. So they're already someone who's spending a ton of money on jewelry every year, and the reward is the Rolex. So it's very uncommon for people that go to a Rolex AD and have their relationship just be winners after winners after winners. So watches that they can go in and buy and sell for retail, that just doesn't really happen. Even if they want you to buy the shit ones. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And they'll tell you straight up. I mean, if you go in there, let's say you might get lucky starting off, you get a sub date. Okay, you're in the green, a couple thousand at best, basically. Maybe you get a date just after that that you can make another $1,000 on. Well, to get to the really good stuff, you're probably gonna have to buy something precious metal, and most precious metal pieces you're gonna lose money on. At least most precious metal pieces that they're
gonna be willing to sell you.
Right, right, just like that. So that's a piece that they might say, well, before we get you to the Batgirl or the Pepsi, like maybe we should add a precious metal piece to your purchase history. That's their way of kind of saying you have to buy this in order to get that. And the problem is, a lot of those watches you can lose a lot of money on. So something we do is we'll help clients kind of strategize on what are the best pieces to buy to get you to the GMT or like the Daytona, because
oh bro, I didn't know you were hustling Rolex like this. Like
it's serious. We have a whole entire like spreadsheet of every model that's worth buying at retail, and then our spreadsheet tells us if tax is this much, let's say in Miami, is it still worth buying? Yes or no? So we have a whole like system built out that kind of tells us.
This is interesting to me.
Yeah, and we update it every quarter. So, because it's a really useful tool. I mean, that's the question we get asked pretty much every day is, hey, is this worth buying? Or, I mean, even just this morning, we were talking with a client of which, I know I'm going to get, let's say it's a precious metal piece. Like, I know I'm going to get offered one of these are the options I can choose from. Which one is the best to buy to just like maximize my return, basically? And so we'll tell them, hey, I think you should get this one. Same thing with day dates. Like, a lot of people will have to buy a day date in order to get to that next level of good pieces. And we'll tell them, these day dates are basically your best bet. Like, I think right now with the way the market is, we can get you out at whatever, break even or a little bit of profit or a little bit of a loss. Stay away from these. But I've also seen cases where people will buy a watch that they have to lose, 15, 20 grand on, and then they get a Panda Daytona from it. So, but the problem with that is you're spending $20,000, basically losing $20,000 to win $15,000. So
yeah,
I don't know. In most cases, I think for most people who just want a few Rolexes, whether it's a GMT, a Daytona, a sub, you're just gonna be better off going to a gray market dealer. Now, of course,
this is why I came to you.
Right, and
Yeah.
of course, maybe
Exactly
I'm
why I
biased
came to
because
you.
I am a gray market dealer.
I'm
but
not going to buy 10 watches to get the one. No, I'm just going to go
and it's
straight
gonna
to you.
take years too. And
Yeah.
then also, something that really sucks is, let's say you have a really good spend with an authorized dealer, and then your sales associate leaves and goes to a different store. Well, okay, you may have spend history with that sales associate and good relationship, but they're now starting somewhere new, and you have spend history at a place where you don't have a good relationship. So you invest all this time and money, and then like, for what? I mean, that's it. It can just go away. There's actually a case where a guy is suing a Patek authorized dealer, or suing a company that was a Patek authorized dealer. I don't remember the full details, but the basic gist is that, he bought all these Pateks, and with Pateks, like, your entry-level pieces there, you're losing serious money. It's not like Rolex you can buy a sub and make a couple grand. Like, you're probably going to be buying one of these, the 6007G. You're going to buy it for 50 grand, and then maybe you can sell it to a dealer for 25 or 28 or something like that. And that sucks. So he buys all those pieces, and they say, we're going to get you your watch, your 5980. And it was either, I think what happened is they had their Patek license to sell Patek pulled.
Ooh.
So he was invested, I don't know how much, but definitely 6 figures, maybe 7 figures. And so he's trying to go after them, saying, I was promised this. And I mean, I don't think that that's really going to work out in his favor, but it sucks, Like, it really sucks. The AD game is tough, and the people that I know who are doing well at it are, I don't know. It's like you're either getting lucky, you have a family established relationship, or you're spending so much time on it that it's like, is it worth it? I mean, there's some people who are going to ADs almost every day. It's a little crazy.
I know we were saying there was a lot of similarities between like jewelry and real estate, and especially with like the price increases over the years, like they kind of mirror each other. Yeah. But this is very different. Like, it's not like I'm going to go to Optima and be like, oh, you have to buy the studio to get a 3-bedroom. Like, they're not going to do that. No. Friends and family do get actually first dibs, and they tend to get the better units for great prices. But, unless you're like a friend of David Hovey, you're just not going to get that. You're not going to like play the game with him.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's kind of, I guess the only similarities, it's like that in the car industry, or like Hermes handbags and stuff like that. But it can be pretty insane. I mean, take probably the craziest example I can think of is the 5711 Tiffany dial. So that's a watch. I don't remember how many they made. It was 175 or 75, something like that. And basically retail price, let's say it's below 100,000, right? So it's like $70,000. Well, the first one sold at auction for like $6 million, and now they're trading for about $1 million. So you can buy that watch, whatever, 60 grand, and sell it for $1 million, which is insane. But the people who are getting those, when it first came out, will see it on like LeBron's wrist, or like Leonardo DiCaprio or Mark Wahlberg, and it's like, okay, well, the problem is that making that money on that watch, it doesn't mean anything to those people, because they're spending so much to get access to that.
You're probably getting it for free.
Right, like it doesn't even matter, So the people who making that amount of profit at retail, like the people that it would really matter to end up not really being able to get it at retail because you have to spend so much money. It's very weird, and a lot of people fall into the trap of like, oh well, I'm gonna put my name down on the list. They're gonna call me someday, and they don't go in order. They don't care. you can think of it as like gifts. You know, it's like if you have a $10,000 gift you're going to give to a client, who are you going to give it to? You're going to give it to the person who spends the most money you want to keep happy, not someone who is just going to take it and you'll never see them again.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, but it's hard, you know, it's hard to tell people that, and they're like, well, of course, you're the gray market seller, like, you're going to tell us that you're the only way to go, and I don't know, you know, in some cases we're the way to go, in some cases it's better to buy at the AD, but usually it's best to go through us.
No, actually, meeting you and seeing how you do business, because there was one time you, like, wired me extra money after I sold the watch. You just wired me extra money. I'm like, okay, so you are very much a broker. Like, you are like a real estate broker just for jewelry. And I respect that so much. 100% gray market the way to go.
Thank you. Yeah, that's, I mean, and that...
Unless you're fucking LeBron.
Right, and that's the thing, you know, then you can get whatever watch you want. I mean, you can do collabs with AP, and it doesn't even matter. But that's something that we found has been really successful is... Because oftentimes there's kind of a gap between what we need to pay for a watch and what a client wants. So, you know, what we like to do is just kind of be as transparent as possible and just say, look, like, I think it's going to sell for this. I need to pay this. You know, it's a combination of our margin we have to make for the amount of capital that we're laying out. Also, the risk that we're taking, you know, like if it's a bigger risk, we have to build in a bigger margin. And kind of like with your watch, it was like, okay, there's none of these. I don't know what it's going to sell for, so let me pay this. I need to make this. Anything over that, you can keep. And in a lot of cases, that's really successful because it just feels good, you know? It's like then everybody kind of wins. Yeah. And we do that a lot with either watches that are they have very uncertain market prices or very expensive, which usually also means a bit uncertain. So it's like, okay, you know, we did that with the Richard Mille earlier this year where we pay out a lower amount, so, you know, the client gets some money now, and then that way we have to lay out less capital too, and then once the watch sells, we'll take what we need to take and then give them a bit back. And honestly, I mean, everybody kind of wins, you know, because I don't know, it's hard when a lot of the people that we buy from, you know, they'll see maybe a watch is trading super high on Chrono 24, and, you know, they think that, you know, we're out here making $3,000 on an $8,000 watch, and it's just not really the case, unfortunately. Yeah.
That's why I've started to stay away from like the Rolex, the Patek AP. It's the celebrities you were talking about. Those guys get brand deals. And I was looking into Vacheron Constantin because that's maybe lesser known.
It is,
which you don't like, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not big on VC. I don't know what it is. Like, I just don't. They just don't do anything for me. And a lot of people are like, well, they're part of the Holy Trinity, which is, you know, Patek AP, VC, like historic watch brands who make, you know, some of the most beautiful watches, and there's so much history, but I don't know, you can make justifications for, like, let's say Breguet or Blancpain. You know, these are brands that make, I don't know, there's a lot of history there, but the watches just aren't that cool. And at the end of the day,
the VCs aren't that cool.
Right, you need a cool watch. It's got to be cool. That's what matters.
It kind of like looks like a Rolex, but then it also has the straps. So it's maybe more practical.
Yeah.
But then I was looking up, like, they had brand deals with like Brad Pitt and like the Louvre and the Met Museum, and like I'd have to literally be Brad Pitt for them to like ever pay me to wear them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and that's the thing is, on the retailer, you know, manufacturer side, well, our margins are small. Their margins are huge. And a lot of where that money, like, it doesn't cost that much to make a watch, but where a lot of their money is spent is on marketing. Yeah. You know, like, they have to spend huge amounts of money on marketing. I mean,
Rolex is all marketing.
Yeah, like, I don't know if this is accurate, but I feel like, you know, whatever reports have come out, it basically says that, you know, to make a $10,000 Rolex, it costs Rolex like $1,000. You know, like, that's basically like what their cost of goods sold is. So, okay, that's a lot of extra money you're spending on marketing. I mean, of course, the authorized dealers, I think that their margin, maybe pre-tariff, is about 30%. So, you know, there's a lot of profit there, a lot of gross profit there, but a lot of it has to go to marketing. So yeah, I don't know, VC, like, I just don't think they're that cool. I respect them, I get why people like them, but for me, it's not something that I've had the desire to wear. And I think that's when people end up being the most successful, is when they're buying watches that, like, they just have a desire to wear. A lot of people get caught up in, like, well, this guy on YouTube or my watch buddy or whoever says that this watch is good or this watch is bad, but it's best to just go with what you like. You know, take the watch that I'm wearing. Like, a lot of people didn't like it when it came out. A lot of people still don't like it. They think it's bad. They think it's stupid. A lot of people do like it, but I don't know. I just saw it and I like it, and I've been really happy with it.
Do what you like, people.
Yeah,
You heard it from us.
Yeah. Do what you like. I think that's really important because we see it. You know, we obviously help our clients and collectors figure out what should they buy, and a lot of times the answer really is just buy whichever one you like more.
Buy what you like.
Buy what you like, literally.
You got anything else for us today, Zach?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Zac Faulk, everybody. Paradise Valley Time. Go check him out. I'm Nick El-Tawil. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.